it's easy doing it with this person because he has been in my life a rock, the most loyal supporter, and there are many, but he definitely is in that tier of just like, I can always just go like this, you know, and he's been with me day one in a certain way of you know, me coming to this country, and so glad that Joe's Pub has given us the media ability to, you know, curate this series. For all of you that have been watching, they've been wonderful. First week we had the great Charles Anthony Bryan, Vuyo, Chanel was amazing. And now we come to this papa. Russell Alexander Hoy. Yep. And you know, Russell, if you've been aware of him, his rise in the music community in New York, but also, you know, throughout the world too, he's become someone who has not only brought something to this music that is real, but you know, his humanity is very special. You know, his spirit, his heart. So it's always to any blessing I get, I like to also always try and have him in it, because he's been with me in a certain way. You know, this is music that I just told him, you know, do it from the African Caribbean sphere, but also do it from a Robert Nesta Marley energy. And we say Robert Nesta Marley, why? Because what is he to you?
Well, you know, he would have been 75 years old this year, Aquarius. And he is somebody that transcended Jamaican culture, transcended the world's culture, and brought real anthems at the peak of, you know, the rise of the civil rights movement, not just in the Caribbean, but in the U.S. and in Europe and in Japan and all over the world. And for somebody that comes from a place as small as Jamaica, you know, a mixed race man, you know, father was...
That's true.
Father was, you
Captain
know,
Marley.
Captain Marley. And then
Mama C,
Sidella, and then to grow up as a mixed race man in Jamaica, but assimilate to his African roots and to become black.
We never really, that is a deep one.
Yeah, I think about
the biracial man being brought up in the African Caribbean culture, who makes the choice. I don't know if it is a choice for him, but definitely decides this is this life and spirit I am. Yeah,
and especially in Jamaica at the rise of the Rastafari movement and at the rise of Marcus Garvey's teachings being spread around the world, and at the rise of black people as a collective consciousness and throughout the diaspora, not just in the Caribbean but also in America and over in London, because
that's true. Yeah, that's true. The Windrush and everything.
So, you know, for me, Bob Marley's music is filled with all of that. Especially, you know, you can hear it as his sound starts to evolve. He lives in Delaware for a little bit.
How has he, for you, has this amazing journey too of being an African Caribbean man, born, raised, and then raised also in the Americas, you know, and then for all of us, I even know for me as an African born person and being raised in Europe, we are finding our identity. So, like, for you, how has Bob Marley helped your process of finding yourself more as this black man, as this Caribbean man? Like, has he helped in that way too?
Oh, yeah. He has, for me, helped solidify, you know, a way of living that is more holistic and closer to the earth, which is what I think, you know, all African diasporic religion, spirituality teaches, whether it's Rastafari, whether it's Ifa, whether it's Vodou in Benin, regardless of where it is, even if it's Islam, which is, you know, throughout the diaspora, it all teaches, you know, respect to the earth. And I think that's what Bob's message overarching is, you know, it's give peace and love and happiness to others because they deserve it. we are all the meek and mild and trying to inherit the earth. So I think that's what resonates with every culture with Bob Marley's music, and why it's so timeless and yeah.
Type of activity. You would have had the eminence of disorder and violence within the school and outside the school. And whether or not it breaks out in the school, it could break out in other sections of the city.
Governor, the plan for gradual integration in Little Rock, Arkansas was drawn up by the Little Rock School Board back in 1955. Now, how is it that in the past 2 years, you as governor have failed to see to it that the road was properly paved for integration here in Little Rock, as other cities throughout the border states of the South have done?
Our school districts are an autonomous part of government, they're an independent part of government in themselves. And there are 8 public school districts within the state that have been paved. The state colleges are pretty active across the board. Have been paved. The university has been paved. All the public transportation systems for cities like City Hall have integrated.
You said that,
And that has been left alone to other cities. and have carried them out with credit to themselves and the state and the nation and the citizenry as a whole. Then I believe that each person should be judged upon his individual merits, and that it should not apply to races or classes or groups.
Well, whether we like it or not, it is applying to a race. Why then the violence? Why the violence? Why did you expect the violence? What would be the motive of potential violence on the part of these whites? Now, naturally, the Negroes are not going to be violent. They simply want to go ahead and go to school with the whites, according to the ordinance.
It's interesting how you see in him the awakening, in a sense of like when we first listened to Bob Marley. It's Sam Cooke and James Brown.
It's coming out of the soul. It's coming out of soul,
like Black Americans.
Yeah.
And then there's a consciousness where, okay, now we have the Bob Marley we know and love, which is protest singer, shake. He's just that's all he is about.
Like black rocker kind of aesthetic, you know, mixed with the but like black rocker aesthetic assimilated with the African consciousness, and it's deep. It's so parallel to like somebody like Jimi Hendrix, or Mr. Brown, you know, or Stevie Wonder. It's this.
You're right.
It's this freedom of expression through, you know, the fashion and song and the outreach of people. You know, you see Bob Marley and he's getting introduced by Dick Gregory, who's one of the most holistic comedians that ever lived. Figured out a way of Dr. Sebi's style, you know, dietary thing, and figured out, you know, how to communicate with hundreds of thousands of millions of people in Afro-America.
For you now, strongest Bob Marley protest songs. Give me your top 3, top 4.
Man.
And name them, and then tell me why this one. War, if it's this one or that one.
Let's start with War.
Okay.
I think War is number 1 because War is actually a Haile Selassie speech that was adapted into a song. So those lyrics come straight from the source of Rastafari knowledge, which is Haile Selassie the First, the Emperor of Ethiopia. And
you would say next?
I would say next, for me personally, for my personal journey, I'd say Concrete Jungle, because it really breaks down the class and social system of you know, what we've created in the colonial world. What you see in America is going to be very similar to Jamaica because it all stems from the British colonial system. True. You know, that breaks down the you know, the whole consciousness of how they built the monetary system into what we see. You know, that lyric, no chains around my feet, but I'm not free. You know, I'm bound here in captivity. They're bound by their monetary restrictions. They don't have fiscal. And you know, he's I like that song because he really tackles it in a deep way, and he gets to the kind of church soul singing that I love.
That's in that period of the Sam Cooke thing. Give me one more then.
This one. You know,
where you going?
It's so classic, but it's the best one. Get Up, Stand Up. It's just, you know. Because it does everything. It's party, it's protest, it's the best one. You know, it's just like, stand up for your rights.
Which one did you do that? Which one did you? Which song did you do?
Well, it's funny because we actually did some Charles Mingus as well as Bob Marley.
We haven't spoken about Charles Mingus.
Well, we can talk about Charles Mingus. But I did Concrete Jungle and War. And it's funny to kind of tie in with, you know, the mixed race kind of aesthetic. Man,
Charles
Mingus.
I know.
You know, and it's like you don't really.
I was about to go there.
You don't really.
Two biracial men.
Semi-biracial men, but they've assimilated into blackness. You know, and that is
it was the only one to do.
It's similar to like a Lester Young or Jelly Roll Morton.
Well, then we're kind of going in the sphere of the light.
Which is different from Charles Mingus.
And what period of time you were born
Yeah,
in.
yeah. If you were born in the 20s in New Orleans, it's a different vibe than 1800s in New York. You know?
You know, thank you to all those who watch or who will be watching this. And thank you again always to Alex Knowlton. We love you. And everyone else there, Joe's Pub, Isabel. And we hope that you've enjoyed and will enjoy. And my name is Michael Mwenso, and this is
Russell Hall.
Thank you very much. Mwah.